Welcome, listeners, to another exciting episode of the Cymarshall Law Show, where we stay true to ourselves and what? Never conform. Today, we have the immense pleasure of introducing a musical virtuoso whose talents have left an indelible mark on the industry. Our guest is none other than the multifaceted Marquis Hami Dair. Born and raised in the vibrant heart of South Central Los Angeles, Hami's journey through the world of music began at the tender age of 4 with a xylophone. By the age of 15, he was already performing professionally, showcasing a prodigy-like talent that would see him master an astonishing 20 instruments. His early years were marked by collaborations with iconic artists such as Ice Cube, Prince, Stevie Wonder, and Lauryn Hill, each experience adding to a unique layer to his rich musical tapestry. Marquis's versatility is truly unparalleled. Under various aliases, he's written and arranged for legendary acts like Shalimar, Sherelle, Climax. His prowess as a songwriter and producer earned him a gold plaque for his work with Meg Thee Stallion on her hit Big Ol' Freak, a testament to his enduring influence in contemporary music. Marquis has worked alongside luminaries such as Magic Johnson, Arsenio Hall, Queen Latifah. His ability to seamlessly transition between different facets of the entertainment industry is a testament to his boundless creativity and dedication. Currently residing in Philadelphia, Hami continues to inspire as a music teacher, sharing his vast knowledge with the next generation of musicians. And if that wasn't enough, he's also a gifted chef with his own culinary venture, Soul on Wheels, where he brings the same level of artistry and soul to his cooking as he does to his music. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the incredibly talented, endlessly creative, and wonderfully inspiring Marquis Hami Dair to the Cymarshall Law Show. Marquis, it's an honor to have you with us today. How you doing, brother? Welcome, brother. How you doing? Thank you for coming through to the show.
Man, my head can't even fit my cap now. My head's too big now.
Yo, so for the people, well, no one knows, but I met Marquis, was it last week, on the plane on my way home from doing a show in Los Angeles. And lucky enough for me that there was no one sitting in between the two of us, so we got to talking, and I found out a lot of cool things about Marquis Hami Dair. Now he's on the show. Yeah. Thank you for coming through, brother.
Brother, let me tell you something. And thank you, Cy, for having me. I am not a fate kind of guy or a chance guy. That was meant to be. That person who did not show for that middle seat, that was perfect for us, brother. So we could just kick it and just get to know each other. And here we are now, you know. But thank you for the, for just all the remarks and stuff, and yes, sir. So I'm at your disposal. Whatever you.
I needed to let people know who you were, because you told me a lot on the plane, and I'm like, this guy's brilliant. And then I started looking you up and finding all types of things. So we're going to talk about it from beginning to end. So to start, early beginnings, you started playing xylophone at the age of 4 and then went on to learn 20 instruments. What inspired you to start so young, and how did you manage to master so many instruments?
You know what? I'm glad you asked that. My mom, she was a nurse, and she worked the graveyard shift at USC Med Center in Los Angeles, and she used to just work the overnight shift. And there was no one to watch us because my dad at that time wasn't in our lives. She had 4 boys, and how parents just kind of know. My mom just knew that I would be the son that would probably love music, because my mom was also a poet, and parents know stuff, So I remember my mom bought me that xylophone home. It was either from the gift shop or just one of the stores, but I remember she brought it to me, and she put the mallets in my hand, and she's like, "Mark Xavier, you can make music with this." And I'm just looking at her smiling because it was just a toy to me. And then she took the mallets and she started hitting the keys, the little bells and stuff. And right then everything just clicked in, and I fell in love with it. And so that was my babysitter. While my mom had to work the graveyard shift, that kept me content. Just being able to make music with the mallets, and that just grew my love for music too. I want to say that, you know.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's a great
Yeah.
answer.
But parents know. You see things. All my brothers, uh, uh, Bruce and Charles, were musicians as well. My brother Charles, my oldest brother, he was a bassist, and my brother Bruce, he played clarinet and reed instruments and stuff. You know, and my dad was a percussionist, so it was definitely in the bloodline. And my dad's twin brother was a church organist for Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church. I never knew that. You know what I mean? So it's in the bloodline.
Gotcha. Growing up in South Central LA, besides like your own family members, who were your biggest influences and how do you think they kind of shaped your career or helped shape your career?
You know, I listened to everything. The shaper of my career was a radio station called 1580 K-Day. That was an AM station. And then also Stevie Wonder's radio station, KJLH. Most of my interest in music just came from listening to the radio. And my brother was like a known neighborhood guy and stuff, and he would bring his friends over to the house and watch me play keyboards. My mother brought my younger brother a little organ, you know, toy organ, and that Bruce never used. And so I would just always play on the organ. And every song that came on the radio, I would just play it. And my brother brought all his like little rowdy buddies over to hear me play any song off the radio. And, you know, that was that was my carte blanche to go through them hoods because I lived in between Bloods and Crips.
Right.
So I had to navigate safely between that. And that music, that was a gift to be able to do that. No one messed with me, you know. I want to say that was listening to the radio. And just having people acknowledge my gift when I was young really motivated me into playing more, you know?
Right. So you were clearly able to navigate because from what I learned, you were playing professionally by you were 15. So you were doing the right thing early. Can you share a story of maybe your first professional gigs or what those experiences might have been like?
I'll share some funny experiences with that. They used to paint a mustache on me, you know what I mean? Because I didn't have any facial hair. I was a late bloomer with facial hair, you know what I mean? So, but I had to look the part. One of my favorite saxophone players was Maceo Parker from James Brown's band, and I love Maceo because he had the chops, but he was so funky, and I love the funk, you know what I mean? Right. So I learned a couple of his saxophone solos. In fact, that's what I auditioned with to be able to do these Air Force bases with the bands that were going to tour and stuff. I had, of course, asked my mom if I could go out and gig, and she looked at me and I said, "Mom, I'm going to go out and go play saxophone for some bands, and we're going to Victorville." And she just looked at me like, but she was cool with it, you know, but she heard how diligent I was about practicing. So that was a fun story. At that time, I had a big old buckwheat uncombed afro because I never combed my hair, but it was big. It was big like lamb's wool, and I just never combed it and stuff, you know. But I would do my thing. So, but that was the stamp of approval. And after that, it was just different people knew what I did and heard me, and different people would just call me and ask me to do things on the saxophone.
Right.
But meanwhile, my interest grew from saxophone to the guitar and to the piano. And I just became a music geek because that kept me out of trouble. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
It certainly did. I mean, you went from there to working with legends, everyone from Ice Cube, Prince, Stevie Wonder.
Right.
See, now you told me everyone has a Stevie Wonder story.
Oh, wow.
I know yours. I know one of yours, at least, because you told me on the plane, but I need you to tell that story to the listeners, please.
Okay, this is one of the most amazing stories that I've ever experienced. And that was with Stevie Wonder. And the band that I was with, we always played at a place called Stevie's Creole Cafe. He was had a spot in Encino, right on the corner of Balboa and Ventura Boulevard. It was Stevie's Creole Cafe. And the good thing about Stevie's spot is he had live entertainment. And everybody knew him, knew Stevie. His food was incredible. He was from New Orleans, so he put that good old Creole stuff, and people just came from miles around. So we were a band that were accumulated with music, the go-to musicians in the industry. I had one of Macy Gray's background singers was a lead singer. One of Brian McKnight's people, one of Rochelle Farrell's people. So it was like an A-list of musicians, Jody Watley, just to name a few.
Right.
So whenever we would get together, we were like some creative, musicians that just threw stuff at each other to see if the other person could keep up. So the time that we're on stage playing, we start our first set, let's say about 8 o'clock we start. We usually wrap up about midnight. The whole time we're playing, a young lady in the front of the stage, because I happened to be on guitar that night, she was on her phone the whole time on our set. I'm thinking, okay, I know we don't suck. And that's really rude for her to be on her phone. But I said, hey, you have good nights and bad nights. As I'm saying goodnight to the audience, it's midnight, I'm about to say adios. She says, no, wait. My dad wants to know if you guys will do your set again. I said, our set? I said, ma'am, it's midnight. We're about to shut down. She said, I don't think you understand. My dad would really appreciate if you guys did your set again. And then the cynic in me said, who is your dad? She said, my dad is Stevie Wonder. I said, me and the band, we looked at each other like, yeah, right. Like a little prolonged right. I said, well, I'll tell you what, if your dad is Stevie Wonder, we'll do our set again. So I said, okay. So she's on the phone. So she said, Daddy, come on down. They said they'll do it again. And we looked at her like, oh, snap. Okay, let's call her bluff. We'll give her 20 minutes. That's what we said to ourselves. Next thing, a silver Range Rover, brand new, rolls up in front of the venue. A gentleman comes out from the driver's side, opens the door for the passenger, out steps in a velour gray sweatsuit, I will never forget it, with braids and dark sunglasses on, is Stevie Wonder. So now we are amped and we're like, Stevie, okay? Now we got our second win. And now we're thinking to ourselves, now we really, really gonna kill it because Stevie's here. So Stevie Wonder's brother opens the door and it's Stevie in the restaurant. The whole restaurant / club is going nuts because they recognize it's Stevie Wonder. His brother helps him to the table. Applause, fanfare. I introduced Stevie Wonder as if he needed an introduction and stuff, And then we count off. I said, all right, y'all, let's get it. I said, here we go. 3, 4. We going to the set.
Yeah.
And we just laid into it and pulled out all kind of stuff. So much to the point to where Stevie motions for the gentleman who happened to be his brother to come to the table and help him up to the stage. So applause, standing ovation. And then, I'm the closest one to the mic because I'm playing guitar. I'm like, what's up, Stevie? What's up? He starts laughing. He said, hey, man, I want to sing background for you guys. And I said, no, sir. You don't sing background for us. We sing background for you. And everybody started cracking up. He started cracking up. He said, okay, well, what do you guys want to do? I said, we looked at each other and said, all I do. I said, all I do. He said, okay, good. Let's do that one. Stay flat. I said, yes, it is an A flat. Okay, so yeah, A flat. We're going to the craziest, dopest rendition of All I Do. And this will tie in because of the person who was sitting in the row on their phone. So All I Do is a song from Songs in the Key of Life. Stevie killed it. I used to have photographs of that in one of my older phones. I cannot find it, but we killed it. Audience went crazy and stuff, So we go through the whole set. Stevie's brother helps him back to the table. He stays and he listens to the rest of the music. And as I get ready to say goodnight again for the second time, I engaged the young lady in a conversation. And, it was just so amped. And I asked her, I said, excuse me, miss. I said, I don't want to be rude, but what is your name? She said, my name is Aisha. Then all of a sudden I said, Aisha? I said, I heard that in the Stevie Wonder song. I said, isn't she lovely, Aisha? She said, yeah, that's me. I said, the baby crying at the beginning of the song? She said, yeah, that was me when I was a baby. I was like, oh my God. So she gave me a big old hug, but that was Isn't She Lovely, Aisha? And that baby crying, if you ever pull up Songs in the Key of Life, and pull up Isn't She Lovely, and you hear that baby crying at the beginning, that was Aisha. And that was my most memorable Stevie Wonder experience.
That is an incredible story, so much so I heard it last week and I still was listening intently like I never heard it before. I love it. Thank you for sharing that. Really appreciate. So as a songwriter and arranger for acts like Shalimar and Sherelle, what is your creative process like when crafting a song?
It really depends. Sometimes the inspiration will come in like a basic melody. Like for instance, certain types of song, I may get inspired by thinking about a bass line in my head, and then I color it up in my head. And then sometimes I'll either go to my guitar or my piano and I'll just play the chord progressions, and then the melody comes. Some songs come totally complete and I just sit down at my desk and I just start writing down all the parts and stuff. I play it, you know what I mean? And then I'll pull up my music programming software like my Pro Tools, whatever else, and I'll just chart it out. And sometimes I will have like either my digital voice recorder with me, and I'll just hum the melody or sing a lyric and just over and over again and stuff, and I'll tell myself what I'm going to add to it. So basically, I'm giving myself production notes on my voice recorder so I can put it in the right key, get the right attitude, sonically have everything in order, and all depends. Sometimes I'm just on the guitar strumming, and a melody will come and a lyric will come to me. So the inspiration just comes at different places and stuff. That's why my bedroom is a recording studio, because I like to capture the inspiration. So to the foot of my bed is my 88 key digital piano, because I can't get a baby grand in my bedroom, but Lord, no, I want to. But so I got my digital piano. Then I look over my left, I got my violins, I got my saxophones, I got my clarinets, because I never know what inspiration that I'm going to get. Sometimes when I dream about songs, I like to be able to capture it, because you can lose it like that when you dream about stuff. So
right.
I like to have it and at least pull out the digital voice recorder and at least try to retain it. So I have like about 5 or 6 digital voice recorders, so all over my bedroom and stuff, you know what I mean? So when the inspiration comes, I'll just have it. Sometimes, let's say, for instance, when I was working with Eazy-E and Dr. Dre on the Eazy's album, Eazy Does It, DJ Yella, he's the drummer from Compton High School. No one know that Yella is an incredible drummer. They just say NWA, thug, gangbanger. But Yella was an incredible drummer. Played jazz, played funk, played rock.
Right.
So Dr. Dre was working on that album with Eazy, and one of Eazy's songs was a song called, I'll just use some language on the title of the song, Too Hard MF. I don't know if I can cuss on your program, so I'm not going to do it. So if you ever pull up Eazy Does It and pull up Too Hard MF, it's just drums, me on guitar, and Eazy on vocal. But the guitar was so funky, DJ Yella didn't want to put any more music to it. So it's just drums and guitar and Eazy rapping, and the rest of NWA chanting in the background. Yella said, I don't want to add nothing else to this. This is way too funky. I don't want nothing to mess it up. So it just all depends on the inspiration, because when Yella played the drums, I said what I heard guitar-wise was a real funky singular line riff. And that worked. And Yella said, that's it. So Eazy paid me my cash, and and I was out there. Yeah, but it happens like that, you know.
Yeah. What's the name of that song again? The one you...
It's called, well, I'll just say it, Too Hard Motherfuckers, okay? Right. That's the name of the song.
That's what I wanted to do.
So that's on the Eazy Does It album. And I had my Telecaster. I had to use my funkiest guitar just to give him that edge he wanted on the track and stuff, you know. But when you pull up the song and you hear those drums, you just understand like why I chose the sound I chose and why DJ Yella chose to keep it sparse. It didn't need horns. It didn't need bass. It just needed just rawness and stuff, you know what I mean? So, so that's what it is.
I love that answer. It was a very technical full answer. So I appreciate it. It was a great answer.
Yeah.
If you had before I forget, I don't want to forget this question. So that you told me about a yo-yo song that you had part of on the plane, and I believe it was "You Can't Play With My Yo-Yo." Did you say you played the bass on there?
Yes, I played everything.
Woo! I went and listened to that before the show. Damn, that bass is crazy. I mean, I was listening for the bass because I was like, he said, but now I got to go back and listen for everything. But yo, you was killing that bass. I was like, wow.
Man,
I know I've heard that song a million times before, but you know when you kind of know someone who does it, I tuned in on the bass and I was like, oh, he's killing it. Killing it.
You know what, Si? It was when Sir Jinx, who's Dr. Dre's cousin, told me what he wanted to do. I said, okay. All right. I said, you know what? I know that song. Okay, so we're going to remake that. Okay, so basically it was Devotion by Earth, Wind & Fire. So I was Earth, Wind & Fire geek growing up. Every Earth, Wind & Fire song because I just love the musicianship. But Jinx put a really, really incredible, funky, dope drum track to it. So once I heard the drum track and started going through the sound, because the first thing that we put on there was the bass. Second was the keyboard. Next was all the funky guitars, the wah-wah guitars, the single strum guitars and stuff, And so the track just took on a life of itself. And most people thought that was an Earth, Wind & Fire sample. Oh, and the saxophone. And everybody thought that it was an Earth, Wind & Fire sample. I said, nah, man, we didn't sample nothing. I said, that's all me. No, it ain't. I said, yeah, that's all me, bro. No.
I love it.
Yeah, that's true, man.
Marquis,
that's true, man.
If someone were to do an autobiography on your life, what would be the name of the movie and why?
Wow. You know what, man? That is a tough one because there's so many layers to my life and the things that my family went through, being raised by a single mom, which is kind of cliche in the hood, but just the license, I would just call it license to get ill. I would take an old school style license to get ill because had it not been for my mom giving me the permission to go on the road and explore my talents and have people ranting and raving and want me back and back again. So my mom gave me that license to do it. She gave me that license when she signed off the, you have to sign a permission slip for your child to be in the orchestra. So my mom gave me the license to play the violin because originally I was going to be a clarinet player,
right?
But they didn't have any clarinets left, so I had to play violin, and I end up loving it. So, but my mom just because I started out as a kid, I always have to have a license to do this stuff, a license to be in jazz band, license to be in marching band, and once I really fully turned pro, I didn't need her license, her permission anymore, but her blessings from the time I was 4 to carry me to adulthood. So I would say, even though it's a Beastie Boys title, I would change. I would say license to get ill because they had a license to ill on that Beastie Boys album. Right. It was just my mom gave me the license to get ill, and had it not been for her, I would have not played all the instruments because she's the one that used to have to sit up and listen to me play saxophone, listen to me play piano, listen to me play guitar while she would be trying to get her sleep.
Right.
Working the graveyard shift.
I know that's right.
So she gave me license to do that,
Shout out to moms. Yeah. Big up. That makes a lot of sense. I love that answer. So you've done a lot of things like TV appearances, Arsenio Hall, King of Queens.
Yeah.
How does performing in those avenues differ from like live concerts?
You know what? For me, the science of it and the emotion of it is still the same. I'm a perfectionist. So whatever environment you put me in, I'm going to always give it my A+ game. For instance, I used to do a late night TV show called The Stephanie Miller Show. It was an amazing thing. That's where I met a lot of people like No Doubt and Greg got up in Tower Power and played with Everett Hart, but the jazz artists, pretty much everybody. But I remember when I got that gig, they were looking for a one-man band because this was through Paramount Pictures, and they didn't want to pay for all the musicians because that's a big price tag to have somebody to have all those instruments.
Right.
So one of the producers came up with a concept. It's got to be a guy that can play all those instruments, and we could just have a one-man band and stuff. Now, they're just thinking off the top of their head. Unbeknownst to them, from South Central LA, there is a one-man band. His name is Hami.
Right.
That was me. So when I auditioned for it, it was actually the Hughes brothers who did Menace to Society, Alan and Albert Hughes. Their manager, Daryl Porter, put me in touch with the producers. So I showed up on one of the sound stages with all my stuff set up and ready for them to go. So whatever they threw at me, whatever song it was, I would hop on the piano, I would hop on the guitar, or I would hop on the bass. They said, okay, this is our guy. We got him. So that was a late night show with Stephanie Miller. She's a talk show radio host. But with late night shows, for me, the challenge of that, being the one-man band, I had to sound like a band. It couldn't be the little digital cheesy instruments. So I would go the night before. It would take me about 12 hours to do that. I would start the night before, program the drums so they would sound like real drummers were playing, right. Putting real sounds together on the keyboards. I had about $250,000 worth of equipment on that sound stage.
Right.
And it had to sound like a band. So I would play live bass, and everything else would be programmed. Or I would play guitar and everything else would be programmed. So most of the bands that performed, when they were backstage about to come out performing, I would play them on with music. And the guys, the artists that was going to come out and perform, whether it was SWV, whether it was whoever, they came out saying, man, that's an incredible band. Who's the band? I said, I'm the band. They said, what? I said, yeah, I'm the band. I said, that's all me. They said, like, no. I said, yeah. Gwen Stefani from No Doubt, all of them. You know what I mean? So that's how I made it sound. But that took hours of prep work. So I was exhausted.
Right. Got you.
Yeah, but that was my most exciting stuff. Or I remember playing Arsenio Hall asked me to sit in on one of his episodes stuff, you know. So I sat in, either on guitar or keyboards or something. I jammed with them and stuff, you know. So but you know, your though, like the saying said, your gifts will make room for you. They do, but you just gotta be ready. So my point was, it's the old gangbanger saying, I stay ready, so I ain't gotta get ready. You know what I mean? Right. So, and I've applied that to my whole life. Stay ready, because you never know when the opportunity is going to come. And I don't make no excuses. You know what I mean? So I'm just stay ready. Yeah, but that was one of my most memorable nights. Yeah, brother. True story.
You have a lot of knowledge up in that brain, so it makes a lot of sense that you made the segue into teaching. What would you say is the most rewarding part of teaching? And also, what advice do you give to aspiring musicians?
Okay, excellent. I will let them know that music is a very jealous lover. It's a lover that will love you back hard, but you've got to love it hard. I'll give you an example. When I moved out here from Los Angeles and I started teaching, I put together, there was a woman, I put some signs on my truck when I drove out here from LA. I drove out here in a little mini Ford F-150 truck. And I put signs on my truck about music lessons. So a woman with twin boys asked me if I could teach her boys. One was a guitar player and one was a drummer. I said, yeah, of course. They were about 8 years old at the time. I said, sure. So I drove into Germantown, where Frankie Beverly is from. And I met the mom, and I met the dad, and I met the twins, and we chopped it up and we talked and stuff, you know, and we connected with each other before we got a lesson. I said, I need to teach you guys the language of music and teach you how to read because we're going to have a lot of fun doing this. I said, but I got to teach you how to read and teach you the language. And it really helps when you have students that really want to do it, because as a teacher, it makes your job easier. And the reward is when you see them start to benefit from the teaching that you put down. So they couldn't have paid me. They couldn't afford me. With my experience, Prince, Stevie Wonder, all that stuff, you can't afford me.
Right.
But when I see the opportunity to pour into some young spirits, my gifts, so that's what made it fun. And then the twin boys, they had a cousin who wanted to learn bass. And then after that, then there was another kid. And then their elementary school teacher, she had a son. So it started growing. It grew so much. So I said, I'm going to turn you guys into a band. And they're like, yeah. I said, okay, good. So I started teaching them music, songs, all the songs they like, and then songs that I like. Next thing you know, we got a singer. So next thing we're down and we're in their dad's lower basement, and we're putting off this music, and we're all loud, and the neighborhood thinks it's a bunch of grown folk playing music, and it's some 12-year-old boys playing music, and a 12-year-old girl singing. And so they became so good to where I wanted to just get them some exposure on that. So there was a competition from Councilman David O from Philadelphia, had a local Philadelphia talent contest. And I told the kids that, I said, I'm gonna enter the kids in this contest. I said, we're gonna win this. And he said, man, yeah, whatever. I said, no, Doug, we're gonna win this, man. We're gonna win this. So we practiced and practiced. And the kids' parents used to call me Joe Jackson. And I knew they meant that trying to be funny. But I said, you know what? I may not respect Joe Jackson's methods, but I respect what he did, because without Joe, there wouldn't have been no Michael.
Right.
There wouldn't have been no Janet. There wouldn't have been no Jackson 5, right?
Right.
So I rehearsed them, and it's perfection after perfection and stuff, So I took him into the recording studio so I could really have a controlled sound. And I recorded them playing the music. And I submitted the music. I videotaped them, recorded them playing the music. I submitted the music to Councilman David O's website. So they downloaded the track with the kids playing. Next thing you know, I got an email back that Councilman O's office approved the song. And now they want to put the kids in like a little showcase, compete and get some other artists. I said, oh, bring it on. Now you're talking my language. Yeah, now let's do it. So we did a talent competition, and the kids had to go head up against adult artists. I put the kids in the world music category. So we had mixtures of R&B and reggae and stuff, you know what I mean?
Right.
And with our own renditions and everything. But long and short of it, we submitted it, and then we had to have the talent competition. And judges came from Tennessee. These were agents. These were publishers. This was the whole network of the real deal people who came to see the Councilman Davis. Oh, so after the kids performed, there's the big day that they're going to announce the winners. So I'm nervous, but in my heart, I knew he was going to win it, because our show, they had choreography, they was singing, they was rapping, they was playing, and I just sat there in my seat. We were at a big arena, and they announced the second, third runner-up, and my kids, their name is Jada Fate. Jada, J-A-D-A Fate, which means knowledge expressed through entertainment. So it's like a name I put together for them, Jada Fate. So I remember they finally announced the winner, and now the winner is Jada Fate. I scream like a church lady, I promise you. I scream like a church lady. But we shut it down, and I asked the judges afterwards, I said, ouch. And the judge said, you know what? She said, it wasn't even close. It wasn't even close. So I said, yes.
Wow.
Joe Jackson, you may have made fun of Joe Jackson, but Joe Jackson, we got the W on that. Right. So long and short of it, that's the kind of stuff I pour into my students. Like this weekend, I've got 3 lessons I've got to do since I've been back from LA. Piano lesson and 2 guitar lessons. But I apply the same type of love. And the students really can tell when you love them and you're really pouring into them, and they're going to usually give you their best. So, and that's the way it usually works and stuff, but I learned that from teaching. If I give you my A game, you're going to give me your A game back if it's in you. And every student, it's not their passion to be a musician, and they're the ones who struggle. But the ones who are really dedicated to it, the world is their oyster, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they just go on and do great things, But that's my thing, man. With teaching, I grew up with a nurse and a school teacher, so I learned from two of the best, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
I love that answer. That might be my favorite one of your answers. I hope that someone out there listens to that and it takes it to heed, and it helps them out. Because when I was younger, it definitely would have helped me out. Just the explanation and how you put it so eloquently. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no worries.
Out of the 20 instruments, what's your favorite to play?
My go-to, well, wow, that's like having 20 kids. What's your favorite kid? No, I would have to say my go-to is my guitar and my guitar and probably my saxophone. Because I got introduced to the business on the saxophone, but on my guitar, I had the privilege of playing for Prince when he came to one of my sessions and stuff for one of his artists. And I just happened to be doing my guitar stuff. And Prince was like really vibing on my guitar stuff because he's a sick guitar player too. So,
right.
And so I got his stamp of approval with that. But the guitar, because
got to.
I had watch this side. My first date I ever went on. And plus I'm a romantic. My first date with my first girlfriend, Christy, we went to Venice or either Santa Monica Beach. I think it was Santa Monica Beach. And I serenaded her on my guitar. And the soundtrack in the background was those waves and stuff and the seagulls. Oh yeah, brother. I had a little hibachi grill and I was grilling stuff up because I was in hard love. So I was like a young teenager. I was in crazy love.
Right.
And that was my girl. I claimed her, she claimed me, and I just wanted her to melt with everything. So that guitar was my first date. That's when I would just sit up and just make songs. Yeah, so I would say the guitar.
All right, I like that answer. Great answer, actually. So, before I definitely want to get on this topic too, you're also a gifted chef with your company Soul on Wheels. How did you get into cooking, and what is your signature dish?
You know what? Okay, so I'll answer that. I got into cooking by being the taster for my aunts and uncles and my mom. Whenever they were cooking stuff up, and the kids, we'd be out there playing. For some reason, they'd always call them Mark Xavier because they were from the South. So they have to call you your first and middle name, Mark Xavier. And so I would come running in and stuff like that. Come try these ribs. Let me know what you think. So that was my uncle, and his ribs were so excellent. You didn't even need no barbecue sauce. It was just so. He babysat those ribs and he marinated them to the T. And unfortunately, he never taught anyone how to do it, but they were very consistent. So I love being around a bunch of cooks. All my aunts could bake and could cook. My mom's signature dish was her banana pudding and her potato salad. My Aunt Doris could make anything. They were all just from Northern Alabama, Southern cooks. So my palate was developed at an early age. I knew taste. I know how stuff should taste. And I became very critical because I was around some culinary type of individuals. That's what they did, and they did it well. So during my dating phases and stuff, my last, I was almost married like twice. And it just wasn't on me, it was on them. You know what I mean? It's like, that's a hell of a story. Not bad story, but I would cook for them. You know what I mean? One of them was a server from one of the places that I played. And after the gig was over, we'd come after the gig and stuff like that. I would cook for her. Rather than just try to have my way with her, I would cook for her. I would say, I'm going to prepare some stuff for you. And she would just look at me and smile, you know what I mean? Because, man, when you could put it down in the kitchen like that, man, the world is your oyster. So I hooked up some incredible food for her. And I already had like some dessert and stuff already made. It wasn't like peach cobbler or something like that. But anyway, that let me know that I was really, really good at it. You know what I mean? And I never had any complaints. When I came out here to Philly and I started sharing my food with other people, the way that I do it, I got nothing but compliments. You know what I mean? And I said, and then now this is what changed and made me take it more serious. One of the musicians that I worked with, he worked with a lot of groups as well. And he said, Hami, man, please tell me you didn't give up cooking. Are you still cooking, man? You need to continue with that cooking stuff. I'm like, Isaiah, you see? He said, bro, you gifted with that, bro. You need to do that. And I said, really? He said, man, trust me on that. So I said, Isaiah, I said, you know what? I'm going to give this another go. You know what I mean? Because I've just been so busy and I forgot about the culinary stuff.
Yeah.
So and you don't lose it. You know what I mean? So what did I make? I made German chocolate cake. I made some beer battered fish cod sandwiches. I had to make some tuna salad because I make it that Southern style. So it was just like a few dishes, and I had people wanting to buy stuff from me. A guy in Philly wanted to buy. I'll pay you $75 for a slab of ribs. I said, bro, I'm not going to charge you $75.
That's crazy.
It is crazy, but I said, you know what? You got to take this serious, So, like even as I'm talking to you, I'm talking to you from my kitchen right now. So I'm waiting for all my stuff to come in, so I get everything set up and stuff, But that's what it was. My buddy Isaiah who really sparked me to really start taking it really, really serious, man. He just planted that seed for me, not to sleep, but man, don't sleep on that, man, because you got a gift. I said, yeah. He said, man, he said, please trust me, man. I ain't going to BS you. I said, all right, bro, I know you and you won't. He said, man, trust me. Do that. So I started making my dishes, and then I would take pictures of them, and I would send them to people. And then just the pictures alone, like 50, 60 people want me to try to do stuff for them. And people want to know, man, can you do events? Can you cater events? I said, well, I need a staff to do that, but we'll talk business at some point, and I could hire some people if the price is right. I said, yeah, that's not a problem. So I started taking it really, really serious. You know what I mean? So, I ordered me a triple smoker from Tennessee. That way I could do pork ribs, beef ribs, and chicken, have it all spread out and stuff, and take my time with it. So, but it's gotta be perfect. It gotta be perfect. You know what I mean? I can't. It can't be just almost. You know what I mean?
Where are people gonna be able?
It's gonna be in Abington, PA. Yeah, not too far from where my office is. It's gonna be in a parking lot where there's a Target, a TJ Maxx, and I forget what the other business is, but no one in the vicinity of 5 or 6 miles is doing ribs. So I said, I want to do something that nobody's doing.
Yeah.
So I said, them Southern style baby backs, and I'll do beef ribs too. You know what I mean? But whatever they want, I just said, so I didn't have a place where I could also feature music, because I want to feature music and I want to feature the food as well. And I wanted to be in an environment that's like that I wanted to be outdoors so people can smell the hickory when I'm barbecuing. So it'll already announce itself. You know what I mean? So as soon as you smell that them hickory logs, Chef Marquis is out there putting it down.
Marquis, can you draw any parallels between your culinary ventures and your musical ventures?
Yes. I'm glad. It's an incredible question, Si. Yes. That's why I have it. My name of my company is called Soul on Wheels. I look at the different experiences. Think about this, Si. How do you feel when you eat a dish that you really, really enjoy? How does that make you feel on the inside? Think about when you hear a song that you really, really enjoy, how that makes you feel on the inside. Music and food. I had a girlfriend, she was a cop too. Her name was Victoria. And Victoria, she whenever she gets some food to get good to her, you know what she would start doing? She start dancing in her chair. And this is a cop, okay? And it's a cop. That's what Victoria did. I'm talking about little kids. I said, little kids, they move back and forth like that. So it's a very spiritual thing. And little kids with music, the beat come on, they start just bobbing their heads, moving and stuff.
Right.
So I relate the two because for me, they're both spiritual things. They move us. A good dish moves us. Good music moves us. So Soul on Wheels, it's going to be food, it's going to be musical, and it's soul food because it's food for the soul.
Perfect.
Not just because I do ribs and collard greens and grill cabbage with sausage and all that other stuff. Not just because of that. But in spite of that, it makes the soul feel good. You know what I mean? So that's what I want, you know what I mean? To get us to feel good again, you know?
Food for the soul and music for the soul. You can't get better than that combination. I love it.
No, sir. No.
Are there any upcoming projects or collaborations you're excited about that you can share with us?
When I was a young kid, and I was songwriting, a gentleman who produced a lot of groups like Lakeside and The Whispers, he actually produced Shalimar. We were part of a little, like a musical boy band from the hood. And we all were musicians. And Leon Silvers is his name. And he came to one of our little shows that we did at LA High School to check us out. And he really, really liked us. He loved our personality. He loved our energy. And he ended up signing us to a production deal. Now, Leon did The Whispers, Leon did Lakeside, Evelyn Champagne King, Gladys Knight. You know, he's got like a laundry list. Not to mention he was in the same group with his family called the Silvers. So one day, Leon asked me, because I was a studio rat. When I started going to the studio, I would just hang out and look at the microphones and look at the mixing consoles and all that kind of stuff. You know, like I was just taking it all in. And we became really close. And he asked me, if was I good with lyrics? Could I write lyrics? I said, yeah, I could do lyrics. So he said, okay, I want you to finish up this song that I wrote. And it was a song for a group called Shalimar. And the name of the song was called Dead Giveaway. And he gave me like a piece of a verse. I completed the verse. They had another piece for the second verse, and I completed the second verse. And then I did the whole third verse by myself. Howard Hewitt heard the lyrics, and Howard Hewitt almost did a backflip because he couldn't believe that this kid he had seen hanging around the studio could come with it, like with some serious lyrics like that, you know? So, so that was my first introduction as a younger kid. This was before NWA, any of that stuff, you know? It was just getting exposed to it. And we mentioned that your gifts make room for you, you know what I mean? And I love writing lyrics. I love poetry. And that side comes from my mom. I was able to do that. And that song was nominated for a Grammy. And so I never knew that until 2 months ago.
That's crazy. How did you find out?
There's a manager, an agent that I'm working with, and she's from the UK, and she had heard some music that the group that I was with Leon when we were younger. The music was still playing over in the UK and stuff on the pirate radio stations and stuff, you know, and she just did a just research the songs. I told her, I said, well, I work with Shalimar. She said, I know. You said, you know, that song you worked on, you know, that was nominated for a Grammy back in the day. I said, no. What are you talking about? Then I researched it myself, and it was Grammy nominated.
That's crazy.
I had no idea back then. No idea.
It's probably a few more things you probably don't know about that's been incredible in your career because you've done so much. There has to be like more things that you don't know about that, like people that you've impacted just with your music. Looking back on your career, what do you hope your legacy will be, and how do you want to be remembered in the music industry?
I want to be remembered as someone who gave it his all, who basically always brought the A+ game. I want to be looked at somebody who inspired people with the music, who could influence people with the music, and who just made people happy with the music and stuff, you know. It's not just about the money. I mean, because this is a business, but I know a lot of miserable people with money, but I know a lot of happy people with no money. And the joy is just the joy. I want to make the music as well as the food just bring joy into people's lives. And if it makes gazillions of dollars, I won't kick that to the curb. But I'm just like saying the money is not the motivating factor, because when the money goes, there goes your joy.
Right.
So I do what I do because I love it. You know what I mean? And the same as with food and stuff. I mean, for instance, to really put a price tag on making a slow cooked brisket, it takes about maybe like 13, 14 hours to prepare a slow cooked brisket.
Right.
You have to babysit that thing. You have to make sure. And so when your name is on the line for that, you can't rush that. You can't put no 5-hour brisket together. So, but because I love what I do, it's worth the sacrifice. And I just want to make people happy. I want to have, as simple as when I made a guy a tuna salad sandwich. He said, I'm not really feeling tuna salad. I said, but you ain't had it the way I hook it up. And he just gave me that little cynical look. I said, all right. I said, I'm going to hook some up for you tomorrow. And I hooked it up the way my mom showed me how to make it. Woo! He wanted me to make a big old pot of it for him. Seriously, a pot of it. I said, bro. But it's that joy, because the same kind of joy that I had whenever my mom would make tuna fish sandwiches, I said, when I make them, I'm going to make tuna like my mom make it. It's not going to be like Subways. It's not going to be like these little sandwich shop places. I'm going to put the soul into it. You know what I mean?
I love some tuna fish sandwiches. So you speak in my language.
Brother. I'm going to hook you up, side. You'll come all the way from Jersey. I'll be like, here they go.
I used to tear tuna fish sandwiches up when I was a kid. Like, I'd eat like 8 of them.
I guarantee you, Si, you will love these. You know what I mean? We'll communicate on that stuff. You know.
Bet. All right, so that was the end of all my serious questions. I just got like some unserious questions. I play a game where I say a word and you just give me the first word that comes to mind when I say the random word. You ready?
Okay.
West Coast.
Misunderstood.
Universe.
Eternal.
Lion.
Protector.
America.
Still developing.
Favorite movie.
Oh wow. I'll say my favorite movie was Godfather 1.
Bob Marley.
Spirit.
Favorite book.
My favorite book. On These I Stand by County Cullen.
Most intelligent person you know.
Most intelligent person that I know. Wow, that's a very good question. Is that alive or past?
Doesn't matter, whatever pops into your head.
My mom.
Love.
Immortal.
And lastly, guitar?
My best friend.
I love it. I love it. Well, my brother, I appreciate you coming through to the show. This has been one of my favorite interviews. I can't wait till the listeners start responding and let me know what they think, because I know it's going to be a good one. They got to appreciate
I hope so.
I hope so. Is there anything else you wanted to get across to the people before we end out today?
No, you know what? I just want to say just keep loving, keep living, and keep living your best life. Your best life. That's yours. What's in it for you is yours, and no one can take that from you. And your gifts will make room with you, but live your best life.
I love it. I love it. Well, my name is Cymarshall Law. That is Marquis, Hami, Dair. We love y'all. Peace, love, and positive energy. And we out like that. Peace.
All right, brother. All right. Thank you, Cy.
Thank you, my brother.
Appreciate it.
Later.
You got it, brother. Thank you.
You're welcome. Peace.
All right. Praise. Have a good one.